There we are. Hello and good afternoon. Or should I say happy midday? I mean, it is for me. But, oh gosh, it's been a morning already, honestly. So, I'm just gonna vibe out, try and, I've been slacking a little bit on my monthly Dragon Point accumulation, which has been fine because at least I got started early enough in the month, but gonna use some level 10 Azurians and run a couple of characters. Pick up where we left off last time on my character that I goofed on the I goofed on turning in the quest, and maybe try and run another character's main quest. But in the meantime, I just want to complain a little bit about stratas. Oh gosh, stratas. Where to even begin? So, I'm fairly certain they're not identical to homeowners associations in that the US would have, but basically, in order to live in a condo building, there's got to be a board, or at least they say you've got to have a board that makes decisions for the building in order to keep everybody in line and make sure it's actually a livable place. But instead, they spend all their time squabbling about. Well, I suppose the more important part is maintenance, but they spend so much time squabbling about the blind covers that it's a wonder that they can get anything done otherwise. So, the old drama is before I left for my vacation in May, we got a letter saying that we had a violation in terms of having a window covering that was not authorized. So I take a look and it's like, no, we literally haven't done anything to the windows since we moved in, so obviously we can't possibly have done something to the windows that would constitute a violation. Only to turn out that it was my neighbor who had messed with their window, and they sent the violation to the wrong unit. So that was a whole thing in and of itself. Me trying to get them to get me a written letter assuring us that we didn't have a violation that we needed to do anything about in our account. So that's all fine and dandy. But then in the next month's strata notes, of course, it says that they've issued another blinds or a window warning to somebody else on our floor. And so a third party, and not me, and not my neighbor that had put up, it was a film, it was like a reflective film that they had put in the window, which apparently was not supposed to be allowed. And I say apparently, because a third party got upset seeing so many blinds warnings, or what they took to mean blinds warnings, on our floor of our building, that they started going around our floor, talking to everyone, trying to find out why so many people on our floor were getting warnings for their blinds. And they didn't knock on our door. I heard somebody talking in the hallway to the people across from us, and I just kind of listened in, so I don't know if they've got, like, they just don't want to talk to us or something, but either way, they didn't knock on our door, but I heard them talking to the people across from us, and they were trying to get to the bottom of what's going on with all these blinds warnings, whereas I would have had the full story to tell them if they had asked, but they didn't. So I just sat in the hallway and listened to them theorize about the council getting overzealous about blinds, despite the fact that it was about a reflective film, not blinds. And then, while I was on vacation, it got even more heated. The people that were going around our floor asking about what was going on with the blinds sent out, or rather, I guess they slid letters under the doors of every single person, saying that actually the Strata Council doesn't have the authority to regulate the blinds because they worded the bylaw too vaguely, and so they can't actually regulate the blinds because the way the bylaw was worded, they didn't actually have the authority for that. And in my head, I'm like, cool, but literally none of this is about blinds. So in retaliation, the Strata Council sent a letter to all of the owners saying, you might have gotten a letter that says that we don't have authorization to regulate blinds, but we do, and also we're revising it to be more clear so that you know that we do have that authority. Except that it was never about blinds, it was about a reflective film. Which was ridiculous in the first place. So anyway, as that's going on, apparently the people that say that the people from our floor that say the strata does not have the authority to regulate the blinds, went over, went to an external body that is used for basically mediating disputes between owners and strata councils. So now they've got like this semi-legal filing going on about this, and I'm like, oh my god, what a waste of money over blinds. But anyway, as if that wasn't bad enough, I finally get back from my vacation. This has been going on the entire time I was away. So I'm getting texts from my roommate that I live with, and she's like, yo, this is crazy stuff going on with the blinds drama. But then when I finally get back, oof, what a surprise. It's time for our general meeting, our month's yearly general meeting where the Strata Council is voted in. And the current Strata owners were going around trying to collect proxy votes from as many people as they could to say, basically to vote them back in, because there's really low participation because they make the Strata meetings as hard as possible to actually attend in person for anyone that's not retired. So anyway, they come to our door, and I open it because, you know, there's been tea. And they tell me that, you know, we're just coming around to collect the proxies so that we can vote ourselves back in again, and we were wondering if you'd be interested. And then they give me another look, and they're like, oh, are you new here? And it's like, I've lived here since the building was built. Like, we moved in when the building was built. So the fact that you literally have not even seen me around when I'm out and about getting my mail, when I'm out and about walking, like I was taking care of Stella. I was going for walks several times a day for a while, like especially when I was working from home. And they'd literally never seen me around the buildings. That goes to show how invested they are in the actual, like, area and paying attention to who lives there. But, like, they only put on events during the workday because they only care about retired people. And so, yeah, I'm like, no, you're not getting our proxy, and I've lived here since the beginning. Goodbye. It's kind of nice to shut the door in front of old people who are begging you for things, I suppose. But so another thing that's been going on in the background is that we have, obviously you have to have in condo buildings, you have to have a fire inspector come by and make sure that your fire alarms are working, because they don't want one person's not working fire alarm to slow down the response. So we missed it. There was nobody here to let the fire people in, so they had to call them back, and we knew that that would result in an extra charge. So it's like, cool, we'll pay the extra charge, just get him in here, and on a day that we can be here, again, because they only ever do it during the day, meaning somebody's got to take a day off work. But, you know, I was expecting that. So we finally got the notice on June 1st of the payment, and they said, you've got 20 days to pay, here's the fee. Your options are in person with exact change, or to have them take it along with the strata fees. Or either, the way they worded it was, if you have automatic withdrawal for your strata fees, you can just email our accounting people and we will take it out we'll take it out of the account. So I emailed them, like, within 2 days, saying, yeah, sounds good, you I authorize you to take the money out of our account, pay the fee, get her done. No response. 10 days later, they still haven't done it. So we're now on the 10th, meaning I've got 10 more days to even, to pay this fee. So I emailed them today, like, hey, you haven't taken the fee and I haven't seen a response. Is there some kind of issue here? And what do they tell me? But they actually can't withdraw the money from our account until the 1st of the month. But it's due on the 20th. So I'm like, well, you literally didn't even email me back to let me know that there would be an issue if you were to withdraw the payment yourself. You're just... In fact, I didn't get a reply at all confirming that they were going to do that. So I copied in some more people and I said, like, I mean, thanks for getting back to me, but if we go ahead with this payment method, the way that you've said I can do it, one of the 2 ways that I can do it, you're just gonna charge me a late fee now? Like, are you gonna count it as being on time because you know that the money's gonna be there? Like... And of course, despite the fact that when I emailed them this morning, they were back to me in 5 minutes confirming, yes, we'll take it out of your account on the 1st, when I asked them to clarify whether that would be late, no response. Not a word. Actually, let me open my email again real quick. Yeah, no, not a word. It's super fast for them to tell me they can take my money, but super slow when I ask whether or not that'll even count. So I'm worried that my only option is going to actually be to find exact change for this fee and drive over to their offices. Stratas. I just spent 10 minutes complaining about strata drama. And I don't even really get involved in the strata drama that much because I barely skim the notes. We had issues with like sound complaints before and they literally did nothing for us. It is what it is. Those neighbors moved out, so we're fine now. But the only thing I ever really checked for was whether, like, every year when the strata fees go up, we double check it, and then every year when, or rather every time that we've had to contact them, we'll check the strata notes to see whether or not they address it in the meeting. Because again, you can't attend the meetings because they put them all at times that nobody can attend. And we've literally done nothing wrong. Okay, wait, we weren't there for the one inspection, but, you know, I got back to them right away about paying for the extra inspection, and, like, they just don't have the decency to extend the same consideration back, so... Gosh, I wish I didn't have to live in a condo. Now for this character, I'm probably not going to use an Azurian stone because this character does stuff other than Gaia. But it is what it is. Anyway, that's my frustration from this morning. Honestly, part of it makes me wonder why they responded so quickly on the first email. Like, are they actually having to double check to see whether or not it's going to count as being late at this point? Despite the fact that they offered a payment method that couldn't possibly pay on time? Stratas just be like that. And I know that's nowhere near as bad as you read stories of other people that are struggling with their homeowners associations, but it's just so frustrating that you can do everything as best you can and it's still not enough. But literally, our strata has done nothing for us. They didn't protect us when we were having issues with our neighbors, and they came at us when we literally did nothing wrong with the window, and now they're making it a pain to just pay a fee that we understand that we have to pay. Like, we're fine. We just... take the money, please. Anyway, that's the tea that made me so sad that after I didn't get a call to work today, I just decided that I had to complain about it a bit, so... ranting about stratas. And again, it's like nowhere near as bad as what I've heard people have to deal with, but we've barely even done anything, and this is already what we're dealing with. So, I can only imagine how much worse it would be if we had actually done something wrong or been trying to fight them. The weather this morning was miserable, so I was thinking that I was going to get stuck inside, but now it's actually pretty nice out. So after I finish the stream for today, I'll probably go for a nice long walk, make a cup of coffee, and just go for a walk outside. But for now, man... You know, to make up for it, actually, I submitted the take I did for the audition, I should say, that I did for a role in a small indie video game. So fingers crossed that goes well. But no, it's nice to actually have it in. So if I'm being honest, when they put up the initial auditions for the larger characters, I did do multiple takes of the audition, but ultimately I decided against submitting it. And I think I might have been fudging it a bit when during the last stream, and I might have kind of implied that I had, or maybe even lied and directly said that I had applied. But as I was listening to it, I just thought to myself, no, this is not what that character sounds like. There's no way. And they don't want, I'm sure they don't want an absolute amateur doing their main character. That would be a pain to work with. But I have applied for a small side character on that same game, and now I've submitted it, and my fingers are crossed. We'll see what they have to say about it. I don't think I'll hear back from them. I think if anybody that doesn't get a role, they're just gonna announce the winners. But such is life. Gosh, I was so nervous hitting the send button, though. It's like, please judge me. I hate that feeling. But if it has kind of been my dream to try and get involved in voice acting, so I gotta start. Just gotta bite the bullet and go for it. So it was very, it was a nice light in the darkness to complete. Even being honest, the way I was doing it was I would do a take. There was a couple voice lines and a couple reaction lines, so I would do a take and then I'd listen back to it and I'd make some notes about what specifically I felt didn't sound right about it. And then I'd do another take and leave it. So then I'd come back the next day and I'd listen to it again and look at my notes and see whether or not I fixed it, or if I needed to try again or change something else. And my thought process at the time was that when I was trying to just do take after take after take after take, it started sounding like I was doing it for the 50th time. So by cutting back on the amount of tries I was doing and focusing on specifically what I didn't like and redoing it afterwards, I felt like I was able to get a better result. But then my only concern is that if I used that method for a role that's got a lot of lines, it would take way too long. So anyway, we'll see what they think. I feel like it came out pretty good in the end, the audition itself. Actually, the funny thing is on the audition, like the role directions, it said specifically what kind of voice they were looking for. It said mid. I know they meant middle toned, but like not high pitched, but mid pitched. And it's like, okay, but they asked for a mid voice, and like, boy, have I got one of those. But it's over. It's submitted. There's nothing I can do now but wait. In the meantime, oh boy, I'm in contact with 3 artists because I'm going to try to commission a couple pieces of art for the big announcement on July 25th. I've got, I mean, obviously I've got the rigger already. I've paid the deposit, so I've saved a slot to have my my new model rigged. Again, I don't think it'll be finished in time, but that was never actually a deadline for the rigger, so we'll just see what happens there. And then the other thing is I actually worked quite a bit on the next episode of the radio show. So, optimistically, I do think that I should be able to get that out within 2 weeks. There's just a certain something that is a bit of a block for that one. Honestly, what I should do, in fact, maybe this is what I will do, is now that it's sunny out, I'll grab my tablet for writing, bring a cup of coffee to the park, and just sit in the park and really lock in on the script and see how that goes. This morning, actually, I went for a walk. Oh, and we're done on this character. I went for a walk around the park, and I found they actually did a lot of construction on the park near where I live. So I found a table that not only had a chessboard on it, but somebody had left a bunch of chess pieces like on the table. So I went and I took a peek, and it's literally just like a set of chess pieces. Like the wind could have blown them away. They just left them there. And I wonder. I really do wonder why they would just leave the chess pieces there. Like, completely out in the open. There's no little box for them. They're just sitting out on that table still. And I was thinking that that spot might be really nice to just sit down and get some writing done. But, you know, if there's it's these little tables for one person, because they've got big picnic tables as well. But if it's just me, I don't really want a big picnic table. I was thinking that spot might be nice, but, like, if people just leave their chessboards and I mean, I think the board was attached to the table. I didn't look that closely, but if people are just leaving their chess pieces out, I don't know where I'd put them. Now, which character was it that we were goofing around with last time? I think it was Evenfall, wasn't it? So the last time we were running... Nope, not Evenfall. The last time we were running, I ran into an unfortunate situation where I got distracted by chit-chat and accidentally forgot to turn in my quest inside the dungeon. And I ran it so many times, I literally ran out of instances. Now, in Aura Kingdom, all you gotta do is just wait 2 hours at the most for a regular dungeon instance to reset. But I didn't have an hour to sit back because I was busy. There we are. This is the one. Oh gosh, my inventory's a mess. No, it's gonna get messier after the dungeon, so we'll clean it up after. Infernal Citadel. There we are. So it's time for a little revenge from last time. And this time we're not gonna miss speaking with the NPC. Does this guy have gear on? Oh, he does! I think the last time I did these with my, oh gosh, it must have been my lance that I did it on last time. I think I ended up running without any gear, and I've got enough DPS, it's just you're also squishy as heck. But no, this is an actually fortified set here. You probably could even run party mode? Oh, maybe not. That's a level 90 weapon. Yeah, I don't know. Now I'm curious. I might be able to run party mode with this guy. Might have enough detail. Oh, we're pretty close to the next target as well. $47K. Oh, hello, Oscar. Oscar Enzo Francisco Cruz. Hello. Unfortunately, I don't speak Spanish. But I think if you're asking, this is the solo version of the dungeon because I've got my quest here. Oh gosh, that's why I keep missing it. It's because it's not even at the... I actually screwed it up again. I still have to talk to her after the second boss. I didn't even beat the third boss properly. Oh, you don't need to apologize. In fact, if you're bilingual, that's much more impressive. Unfortunately, I did turn off the automatic translation feature for the chat because I found that it was translating words that didn't need to be translated, and I wasn't a big fan of it. Anyway, I goofed again, so now I have to run it again. But at least we have 3 tries. Oof. Oh, and she's outside, so I can't screw it up this time. And I am gonna give a shot at the party mode after, because I betcha this is enough for party mode. Although I'm not great. I don't have a rotation for this class. And I'm using Sub-Guardian for no discernible reason. Oh, probably actually for the, just because I've got a Guardian sub-weapon? Oh no, I guess that technically is cohesive if you're playing Lightning. Increase target's thunder damage by 15%. That should be received lightning damage. Hello, Ariel. Oh. You guys missed the spending 15 minutes complaining about the place that I live. That's okay, I just needed to get it off my chest before I have fun with actually playing games. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, I just realized that I don't have sound effects for the game on, do I? That looks a bit loud. There. Alright, we can't possibly screw this up this time. Stopped playing 2 months ago. The lack of save file depressed me despite having a plus 30 set. If I didn't have a save file. After season 20, I was nobody. I'm not sure what you mean by a save file. No, I didn't use a treasure charm for this. I'm just gonna give Hell mode a shot. Oh, I think you might, if you're using Google Translate, then you probably meant S20 as in level S20. But I'm not sure what you mean by save file. Actually, that is pretty rough. If you've got a free Key of Gaia exchange and Justicia and Tears on it, which exchange one is that? Hold on, let me pull this over here a bit. That's gonna be in... Is it in Boost Area? Oh, that is Key of... Tears on Key Exchange 1. Okay, so there's a couple factors that you're gonna want to think about. What if you've got a specific element that you're playing, that's gonna really, like, the specific Eidolon you want to get might change, like, because Eidolons are really element specific. So if you want to let me know what class you're playing, I'll let you know if there's a specific one that would be really, really good. But if you don't have a specific class or element that you're really attached to right now, for the first exchange voucher, the level 1 exchange voucher, let me just double check to make sure it's still the same as I remember on the database. Ice. Okay, so Ice Eidolon At least most people would play the Dragon Nunchuck as ice. I believe it also has an you can play it as... Is it dark? Oh gosh, it's been a little while since I've built mine. I personally play my Nunchuck as ice. Let me just double check. Yeah, it's ice or dark. So, Tyr is a lightning eidolon. And Justicia is a fire eidolon. But if I remember correctly, Justicia's not great. And basic Tyr, like the normal Tyr that you can, like, not the seasonal Christmas Tyr. Yeah, he's his skills are better, like he's got debuffing skills, but it's not super geared towards lightning either. So as much as Tyr is actually my favorite eidolon, if you're playing an ice or dark class, let me just quickly peek through the list here of what we can get with the voucher one. Hermes, Demeter, oh, I'm dying. I just, sorry, got distracted by the fact that I'm dying. Okay, I got Hermes, Demeter, Michaela, Irene, that's a Hebe, Izanami, Venus, Justicia, Verdandi, Undine, Kitami, Pandora, Tyr, Lumiki, Muse, Zashi, Harmonia, Dante, Zephyrin, Yumikaze, Eternia, Ayako, or Alice. There is a lot of options. I swear there wasn't that many before. I know that the on the database it says Kerberos is an option, but he's not actually in-game. So I wonder if any of those other ones are also worked. I'm just doing the run for fun. It's not like this one. A quest is counting on this run. Where's Irene? I didn't think Michaela and Demeter were actually exchangeable either. That might be a change. Yeah, that's voucher one. Is Michaela and Demeter down here somewhere? Oh yeah, they're not. Michaela's not. It shows in the database as an option, but unless they've added a second version of the exchange down here... Yeah, no, I don't see them actually there. So I believe Irene is actually the last one. Now, that was a lot of names. Offhand, I don't remember any of those being, like, solid early game ice eidolons. So I'm gonna actually recommend you choose between... was Izanami actually an option? Izanami's an okay eidolon as just, like, a dark eidolon. If I remember correctly, it... Gosh, I feel a little bit rusty here because I haven't gone through the old eidolons in a while. Does she actually have dark skills, though? Not really. Alright. I thought it was Izanami, but it might be Pandora? I swear, I feel like I need 3 freaking monitors. Sorry, I've got 3 monitors. I feel like I need 4 freaking monitors. No, Pandora's got more of a healing sort of thing going on here, so that's not ideal either. And Undine wasn't great for ice either, was she? Yeah, not really. Okay, so none of the eidolons are like actually ones that you'll want to super invest into like long term. Like, there's none of the Eidolons are a good option for your elements. And so, my recommendation is gonna be my generic standard recommendation, and that's that all of the Eidolons that you can get from that key voucher do drop key fragments somewhere in game. So I highly recommend getting Verdandi. And the reason for it is because she is the hardest one to get fragments for in-game compared to all of the other Eidolons that are in that list. The only place that you can get her fragments, provided that my data's not out of date here, is from one of the Sky Towers that very few people run, which is a raid, a 40-person raid that very few people like doing, the one that Verdandi is in. And I did it for years and never got a single Verdandi fragment. So I'm going to recommend her just because she's really hard to get and she's a part of 6 archives. So a little bit early to worry about archives, probably. But basically by collecting sets of Eidolons, you get bonus stats. So by picking up Verdandi, you're kind of getting ready for the future. She's not bad to use on field. I use her on field on my alternate account, which is free to play. But she's not like optimal for any specific element, and I wouldn't invest a bunch in her. But she would be a good choice in terms of like, she's a good base for the future, and it's an Eidolon that you're going to have to invest in if you'd like to work on your archive at some point. I don't know why I didn't pull out my healing turret. Anyway, I got distracted by that. Lyart, hello! I do like Grenadier for having a lightning bounce skill, but I don't know its proper rotations, and I have not properly read over the skills, so I'm just kind of winging it right now. And as for Shirayuki Burb, I totally agree that Shirayuki is a great free-to-play option for really early game, but the downside is that you've already got one Shirayuki key for free, and very frequently they can very frequently they'll run events in the Gaia dungeons, the ones that you can run through and kill a bunch of Eidolons, the ones that I was doing at the start of the temple. Very frequently they'll run events in there that make her very easy to get, and on my free-to-play account that I've been running, it's I mean, I don't spend on this account anymore either, but basically on my fresher account, I have got Shirayuki keys out my ears. I do not need more Shirayuki keys, so I feel like Verdandi is a way better choice in the long term. Lyart, no, I actually don't really need help here, but thank you for offering. I'm just goofing around here with this character. I've put them in... Okay, I forgot this was just an S5 armor set here, but I'm just goofing around to see if it's possible, because I was curious with my archive whether or not I'd be able to just get through here. Oh, you're a main Grenadier and you have tips! Absolutely! In that case, yes, please. Clearly my gear is not exactly gearing. And if your first tip is don't be sub-guardian, I know. But the sad thing about archive is that once you've got enough archive, it's possible to make anything work, really. And I'm just using it because I got a nice sub-octernal. Hold. Oh, it's cut off. Alright, that'll be helpful. Thank you. That's easy tips. Immediately put into practice. I probably shouldn't be using Grim either, but... Maybe we'll pull that guy out. This is lightning, right? No, it's physical. How is an orange icon like that physical? The C4 is my guardian skill. Oh, congratulations, Triana! Persephone is an amazing Eidolon to have in your kit for her immunity skill. It's a little bit broken, which is why they had to nerf it. But I love having it. Yeah. Oh, meteor cannon. Okay, yeah. So, as you might notice, my skill bar is a little bit messed up. I've got Q, E. This isn't even on a hotkey, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Because when I use my controller, I access those by holding a special button, like a button that I've got on my controller bound to control. Now that being said, I do think it's possible that I just don't quite have enough going on here to be able to hack it with this character. So I should probably pull out an Eidolon. I should probably pull out an Eidolon. Talking about how Eidolons are helpful and literally using one that's not helping me. BPSR Season 3 is another nerf to stats. You know, I actually have given up Blue Protocol. My friends are, my friends are still playing, but it kind of got to the point that it was like, I'm showing up for the raids and I'm doing my best to grind between them, but I'm just not getting any good gear, and by the time I catch up, there's already new gear out. So the same issue that I was having with the remake of Aura Kingdom, which again, it's someone mentioned it, that the old version of Aura Kingdom is more fun, or recent, what was it? Something like that. Yeah. As for me being strong now, I have been playing this game since it first came out. So you remember when I mentioned Eidolon Archives? Well, I'm doing pretty good for Eidolon Archives, and that makes a world of difference. As for Eidolons, now technically I am trying to build as a lightning, right? Oh no, I've got fire going on here. I thought I was building lightning. I don't even know what I'm building, apparently. Yeah, I thought it was lightning because I took the Guardian sub for Lightning Strike Area. I mean, either way, it's whether or not Sacrificial Bomb or Plasma Cannon is doing the heavy hitting, isn't it? Santa Tier. Now, I do have Santa Tier, but he's on another character. So who else do I have here that can be a DPS? Eidolon for lightning. Actually, this might not be bad, the damage taken down. Although I think this is my other DPS Eidolon. Aladdin. Alright. We'll give it a shot. If it doesn't work out, I'll call it and move on to my next character to finish off the quest here finally and get the quest done. Oh, no worries. I appreciate it. The fact that you're bilingual, even though, like, oh gosh, I went to Japan and I even speak Japanese. And, like, I just got so tongue-tied anytime I tried to talk to somebody in Japanese. Like, it was legitimately embarrassing at times how badly I did. Yeah, but you speak enough English to say that much. Alright, we'll get out this buddy. Hey Yoshi, I appreciate the sentiment there. I just felt extremely embarrassed because I feel like I'm quite... That was a bad choice. No, I got distracted. Sorry, trying to read the chat when I should be focusing on fighting. I'm sorry, you're probably looking at me thinking, what the heck is she doing? But the fact that it's even working at all. Woo! I'm not gonna lie, I did not think that I'd be able to do that. Yoshi, that is so right. Also, hello, Machoria, it's been a while. Oh gosh, so like, the... so like, when I was in Japan, the very first thing I did, after, okay, not the very first thing, but I got to the second airport because I had to do like a hop from Haneda to Shinchitose. And when I got to Shinchitose, I just followed everybody out and didn't grab my luggage. I mean, I'd been awake for 30 hours, so I forgive myself for being that dumb. But the very first thing I had to do was, like, I had to go knock on a window because there was no staff members except inside the secure area that I couldn't get back into, and be like, no, sumimasen, watashi no nimotsu, wasurete shimaimashita, and, like, she understood, but I felt ridiculous. And then from that point on, I was toast. Like, anytime somebody was speaking Japanese, I could nod along. I totally get it. And then they switched to English because they think I didn't get it. Anyway, Econ, this is the Infernal Citadel Hell mode. Get my Eidolon back out. Actually, the fact that I don't have any way... Oh no, I do have a way to heal him. We're all just going to try our best when we're trying to work on other languages. Really, the only way to get better is to continue trying to use it, so you're doing way better than I did. At some point, I kind of just gave up, and then the people that were with me on my trip to Japan, they were like... After the conversation, I could... It was actually kind of funny. So, like, after the conversation, somebody would be like, oh, yeah, was that the right way of putting it? And I'd be like, oh, yes, armchair here. You know, I would have gone with this other word instead, but I would never do that. Like, I could not form the full sentences. Like, I could absolutely critique what my friends had managed to pull out, but I literally couldn't. And I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna think I'm, like, a complete failure. They're gonna think I was lying about knowing Japanese. But it is what it is. Technically, I have a certificate that says, yep, she knows Japanese, because I did pass the N3 examination. But that was about 10 years ago. Well, a little over 10 years ago now. So... I don't know if anybody would even count that at this point. Where the heck did that come from? Let's see. Now this last boss does not have the little ads for me to leech life from. So I wonder if it would be in my best interest to bring some? Okay, I think this meteor cannon is more important than I expected. So frankly, if... Oh, we did go to karaoke! And not only that, it was so much fun. Like, I was not expecting it to be as fun as it was because I've got trauma around singing. Not real trauma. Basically, the last time I sang karaoke at a party, the party died immediately. Like, the vibe was all off. Like, and I was like, I sang so bad it killed a party. Great job, me. But when we went for karaoke in Japan, everybody was super good vibes. Oh shoot, I kind of went a little all out there before the 4-3 C2-3-1. Oh shoot, I'm just so used to not charging things except on bow. Nope. And see, I'm not joking about the karaoke. So, I was at this person's birthday party, and it was like, it was basically a house party, and it was the only time I've ever been to one because I've never been invited to one before. And I was like, all right, we gotta be cool. We gotta fit in. So when they were like, you should sing karaoke, I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm not very good at karaoke, but you know, it's okay, right? Like, and no, sorry, that's a lie. I was very much like, ooh, no, I'm not doing that. That would be bad. And they were like, no, you gotta. And I'm like, it would be bad. And they're like, no, you gotta. So I did. And yeah, no, after they were all thinking, yeah, she should not have sung karaoke. But it was fine in Japan. And frankly, I was going to singing lessons for a bit. Better without a whole party. Good to know, because you're right. It was a lot better with my smaller group of friends in Japan. But like, I was going to singing lessons for a bit, and my singing teacher was like, yo, you are like so on point with singing in tune. You have a lot to work on aside from that, but like, being in tune is not a problem, despite the fact that to me, that was my biggest issue, is that when I listen, I feel like I'm not in tune. And like, there's not a lot of emotion behind when I sing, there's not a lot of breath control, but hitting the notes is not a problem that I've got, apparently. So, I don't know how it could have been that bad. Shoot, I forgot. She's immune until I get rid of the yellow shield again. Four stuns? Oh gosh, I don't even know if I've got enough brain space to worry about stuns here right now. Oh. Oop. Close. As a nublet, breath control is something you need to constantly work on. You know what? You're very right. You're very right. That is something that I do have to work on. But when the only place I sing is in my car, there's nobody there to like remind me that I'm taking breaths that are too frequent or loud. Triyama, as a nublet, in the LP store, I don't even know what it goes up to now because they've actually been adding more. Oh, they're up to Seiru. Now, it does depend a little on your element, because there might be a pretty decent, like, mid-game Eidolon for your element in here, but otherwise, if you've already got an Eidolon you like to use on field, what you probably want to do is come into the archive and look to see if there's any that'll, like, really easily complete archives for your element, or something like, not boss damage received, but boss damage dealt, or detail damage. It really depends on how nublet you are. And yes, Lyart, the numbers do help. It's the me trying to execute without muscle memory that's not helping. I play too many classes, so my muscle memory for any individual class is kinda nil. You know what? Maybe I'll throw this buddy on. Why not? I just got random food on because there was an event before that was giving you bonus experience for having food on. Oh, maybe I won't worry too much about anything until her shield is gone. Ooh. No. You know what? Now this is a mission. I feel like I've got to beat this now. Do I have a lightning eidolon that'll have some healing instead? Sealed. Just offhand, I don't recall if I've got an eidolon that could do lifesteal, because right now I feel like if I could just sustain a little better. Nothing wrong with Kotonoha, but she's a little boring. You rather have the pretty pink lady? Yeah, there's actually a lot of Eidolons that have lifesteal, and you've got basically two categories of lifesteal Eidolons. You have the ones that have the buff like this, the same as Kotonoha, where you can trigger it without a target. Or you've got the ones that add it as an effect on one of their attack skills. So the benefit of using an Eidolon that's got it as one of the triggerable skills otherwise is that if I turn her off offensive, I can then individually pop her skill without worrying about her starting to attack and take damage from the boss. This should help, but sometimes they just die from the AoEs anyway, so I don't know whether or not it'll work exactly the way that I'm intending. It does mean that I'm losing out on my extra lightning damage, though. I just feel like it's not even worth going all in on her until that shield is done. Nope, it didn't work the way I thought. She died. She died and then I couldn't trigger her skill. Salome, you failed the one thing you were supposed to help with. It was definitely better with my dude. So just go all in on the attack and attempt to make the most out of my lifesteal. My masteries could use some work. My defense capped? I mean, it's close enough. Oh boy, are there a lot of Eidolons. 167. I don't even have all of them. I got a decent chunk though. I'm just missing all the brand new ones. And some of them not brand new ones. As I mentioned it before, but I did spend a bit in the past. Not very much total. I've stopped now. I don't spend any more money on Aura Kingdom. Because, I don't know, spending money doesn't make it any more enjoyable. So I don't need to. But, as a free-to-play, you still have ways of picking up new Eidolons. And especially since lately they've been handing out 2 or more free, rarer Eidolons per month. I actually only finished Frigga 2 months ago, so now I'm a little bit sad that I would have been able to just get a full Frigga key for free this month if I had still been working on her, but whatever. I finished her and I'll be able to sell her off for tokens, whatever. Oof. No, I goofed that real bad. I don't even know what I was doing there. I'm sorry, I'm a failure. Just gonna close all these tabs. I don't think having a bunch of Eidolon pages open is affecting my gameplay, but you know, psychologically not looking at Eidolon stats on the far right screen. I don't know if that helps that much considering CCC at 4. Oh, you're going to be disappointed. I'm only at 2. So I've had 2 coffees so far today. The desk is lying to you. Oh, wait, no. 3? 3? No, so I think it's 2. So after I was really stressed out at the start of the stream here because I wanted to complain about my strata. But then as I was going through that in my brain, I was formulating a plan for my 3rd coffee. After we finish here for the day, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to sit at a bench in the park and I'm going to bring a coffee and work on writing. I am shocked I survived that. Alright. It gets to a point. One more try. We're gonna do it as real as possible, and then I do feel like I should move on. Actually, I don't even remember what CCC stands for offhand. But caffeine consumption counter actually sounds like a great name. I feel like I do need to rework this this layout here. I basically let the skills fall as I level up, and then I just never move them. Oh yeah, Firelander made it up. But we're doing good. Considering we're only on a 2nd coffee at this time of day. Ugh. I had the wrong thing targeted. Really? We're gonna lose. You're gonna lose like that. You know what? I think I've done it so many times that I've gotten a little bit too It's exactly what I was talking about with the audition that I was talking about applying for. I think I just did it too many times and it became like I lost all my caution. Honestly, I've considered the idea of having like an actual coffee counter on screen, but I can't get up and go make a coffee while I'm gaming. So the best you're gonna get is just the cups on the table. So I hope that is acceptable, even if it is a lie today. Yeah, I'm not 100% certain on how to beat that boss. Maybe if we'd been in like regular mode. Oh yeah, I sent in an audition for a voice acting role in an indie game. It is going to be my first time actually submitting an audition, because the last time I said I wanted to do it, I got too nervous and chickened out and did not submit my audition. So it's the same game as the last time, but it's for a small side character. So I feel like for a first time role, it would be a better fit, because hopefully I can't screw up too much. I feel like I did a good job on the audition. It's just that the idea of applying for a leading role was a little bit nerve-wracking, and I ended up not being able to have the nerves to go through with it, so I didn't. Oh, hat. Orange hat. But what I meant by doing it too many times is when I first started recording the lines for this audition a couple days ago, I did like 10 takes all at once. Well, one after another, and by the end it started sounding like, I mean, it started sounding like lines. It didn't sound like voice acting, it sounded like reading lines. Not ideal. So what I ended up doing was I listened to the line, I wrote down what I didn't like about it, and I did one more take, and then I stopped. Then the next day I came back and I listened to the take I did again, looked at my notes, decided whether or not I'd gone far enough or if there was other things that I wanted to change about the way I said it. Did a take, listened to it, saw if I liked it. If not, I stopped. And then I came back the next day, and anyway, I think it was about 4 or 5 days total. I was deleting the files as I went, but I think it was about 4 or 5 days total that I did that. And today when I listened to it, I was like, yeah, that's good. It's just that kind of a recording process isn't gonna work for, like, a lot of lines, right? So maybe a small side character sounds like perfect. Anyway, yeah, I'm super excited. But just by doing it over and over again, I kind of got worn down. Yeah, same thing that happens when I'm doing like rhythm games too. Like when I do the same song over and over again, I might get really, really close to a full combo. And then the more I do it, the more complacent I get on the things that I was good at, and I screw it up. So for me, a full combo on a rhythm game is like, if you don't get it within the first 5 tries, you just gotta stop. This inventory looks fine now. Well, I'm kind of I kind of wanted to get into voice acting from a really long time, for like a really long time. I had a friend in high school that wanted to get into voice acting, and I did too. But her parents signed her up for a course, and then they ended, like at the end of the course, they got a, like they got to record a proper, what do you call it? Like a reel? Or something that you could use to submit for auditions. And the fact that there was so much stuff about it kind of was like, oh, so yeah, I'll never be able to do that. So I guess I'll just never be able to get into trying to do voice acting. But I was young a very long time ago, and I think that the course my friend went to was actually a scam. She never got any roles, and actually she works in the animating industry now, but she never got any roles. I never attempted to apply for any, but just in the back of my mind, it's like, it would be really cool if I could get involved in voice acting. That would be a lot of fun. So I'm doing it. Time to live up to the dream. I did say that I was going to try and do more things that scared me. And yeah, it was very scary hitting submit on an audition. Being like, this is the only thing they have to this is the only thing they have to go off of, is this 1 minute clip. Absolutely a rough industry. And of course, if there are people like me that would be willing to be involved for pennies just because we'd really like to do it, that also puts voice actors kind of on the back foot, because if there's so many people that want to be involved, it's only like the upper echelon that really have any kind of cachet that makes them valuable, right? So as a main profession, I'm not deluded enough to think that it's possible that I could go that far, but I still feel like being able to try to work with indie developers to try to make some stuff that people feel passionate about, like I do, that would be fun. And I'd be willing to take it extremely seriously for those kind of projects. Oh, and Firelander, I feel like I should say this just because just because you mentioned it, if it was easy for me to make coffee, I would be drinking far too much coffee. So my solution to not drinking too much coffee and going broke on coffee is the only way I can prepare coffee is using a completely manual process. So I've got a manual hand grinder, I've got a manual espresso press, and I have to boil water on the stove. So in order to prevent myself from having too much coffee, I have specifically made the process of making coffee inconvenient. And Yoshi, that was the objective, is to try to be healthy about it. Like I don't want to delude myself into thinking that passion alone is enough to start a career. Very reasonably, I have a job. How else would I be able to afford my groceries and mortgage? But you know, the first step towards doing something that you want to do is starting to do it. So I said to myself, look, it's very unlikely that the very first time I apply I'll get a role, so I just need to start applying. And every time I do, I'll learn something. And then if I keep applying to people that are willing to hire newbies, eventually there's a chance that I might find somebody where I'm excited to work with them and they've got a character that fits me at some point. I don't know. We'll see. But it would be pretty crazy if the very first time I applied I did manage to get a tiny little bit role. That would be fun. Whew. Getting out of your comfort zone. You know, it's so much easier to just talk about getting out of your comfort zone as compared to literally doing it. I'm not sure who still remembers, but last year, in 2025, I was in a video with a large YouTube channel. Caffeine does nothing, can have a cup and fall asleep. You know, I'm actually the same way. I can have a cup of coffee right before bed and still fall asleep normally. So I'm hoping that's just that I've got the genes that allow you to do that, and not that I've got a hopelessly large amount of caffeine inside my bones and exhaustion permeating my very fiber of my being to the point that it doesn't make a difference. But you know, we can dream. We can dream that it's the one that doesn't involve me having to change my life to get healthy about it. But what I was gonna say about the YouTube channel that I was able to join them for one video is after we did the recording, I went to a cafe and I got a piece of chocolate cake because I'm like, that was really, really big. I was extremely nervous and I would like a piece of chocolate cake. I would not call it a collab. Basically, Linus Tech Tips is a very large YouTube channel, and in Canada, I'm gonna say they're probably one of the top 5 or top 10 YouTube channels in Canada. They have like 16 million subscribers, and I live within driving distance of their office, although in Canada driving distance means just basically however far you feel like driving. Technically, I would call a 3-hour drive driving distance, so that tells you what kind of a range we're dealing with. But basically, they put out a call for if there's anybody local that can show up at their office for a recording, like to be in a video, apply. So I applied, I got on, and you know, the fact that it's been 3 hours wouldn't get me halfway through my province. So there you go. 3 hours isn't that far in Canada. But basically, they did a call and they said, look, if there's anybody local, feel free to apply. Maybe you can come to our, like, we're doing a video that we're bringing in people from outside the office. And so I applied, I got it, I recorded it, and afterwards I was so nervous that I was like, yo, that was probably like going to be like the highlights of anything that I do on YouTube ever. So I went out for a chocolate cake to celebrate, and I was so nervous I could not finish this tiny piece of chocolate cake that I got. No, it was completely unrelated to anything Aura Kingdom. Linus Tech Tips is a just a general technology channel. They do all sorts of stuff, but basically they were just having fun with this neat. It's a really weird idea for them, actually. It was a little out of their normal wheelhouse, but basically what they did was they brought in, I think, five people total from outside of the office, and then they had two of their staff members try to guess which one of us was a console gamer and the rest of us were PC gamers. So it was just a small game show that I was a part of, basically, and it was fun, but it was nerve-wracking, and like that's out of my comfort zone. So applying for a small voice acting role on a project with people that I'll never have to see and isn't gonna get 2 million views is a completely different ballgame. So I'm trying to tell myself, don't be as nervous for that as the time that you couldn't eat chocolate cake, but it's still nerve-wracking. Your bunnies. Okay, so I own like clothing from Genshin Impact, and I also own a jacket that is technically from Nier Automata. So when I was trying to decide what to wear, I was really tempted to kind of go all out and wear that low-key gamer good stuff. But I ended up talking myself out of it. Like, I spent so long trying to decide what I was going to be wearing. But yeah, no, there was so much that went into it that we got a tour around their office, which is cool. We got a free water bottle. I like my water bottle. I still use it today. Like, it was such a cool experience. I'm glad I did it, but like at the time of like I said, I could not finish a piece of chocolate cake after because I was so nervous. And let me tell you, a chocolate cake and a cup of coffee, that's like my favorite thing in the world. The only thing that would beat it would be a slice of tiramisu and a cup of coffee. Anyway, Evenfall had new quests to do as well, so maybe maybe I'll goof around a bit here. Yeah, I think she doesn't have any gear at all. Oh, Magic Sundering. Okay, so she's got a level 90 top set, level 60 bottom set, and a level S5 weapon. Oh, Felix. Yeah, so her gear is kind of pathetic. Okay, so because my coffee is gone. Biggest coffee junkie friend. Well, you know what? I'm honored to be counted among the coffee junkies of your life then. But this is where I have to admit that I literally just poured myself a cup of tea. So my backup when I run out of coffee and do not have the time to make another cup is I drink tea. Although today it's not even black tea, it's just a nice green tea. Yes. I always prepare a cup of tea, or a pot of tea, and a cup of coffee for every stream. Now, I think we're still running the event for bonus experience from quests. But I'm not positive. Tea without caffeine. Herbal tea is... I don't know, it's hard to explain, but you know how like a lot of herbal tea smells amazing and then tastes like nothing? Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I'm a big fan of tea that actually tastes like tea. So, then again, I'm not a huge orange pekoe kind of person. I prefer like breakfast teas or green tea. I guess I don't mind Earl Grey. Yeah. Although my go-tos would be Irish breakfast or genmaicha. Ooh, did not mean to go to the Awakening Realm. I'm trying to think of the last time. Oh, you know what? The last time I had herbal tea would be on the trip, on my trip to Japan, because we had that blue tea that turns pink when you add lemon. And the most disappointing thing about the butterfly pea tea is that it's got such a vibrant color, and the change is so vibrant in like when you add the lemon, like the pink that it changes to is intense. Oh, am I done the quest? I just forgot to turn it in. No, I guess she is done. But butterfly pea tea just has like next to no flavor, at least the kind that we were served in Japan. Just no flavor. It's literally all about the colors. First awakening attempt and how it got slaughtered for an hour straight. Well, I mean, if you only took an hour for your first awakening attempt, then you are doing way better than I did. Because the first time I completed awakening, it was 3 hours. I did not have enough, what do you call it? I didn't have enough pen at the time, and I just powered through because I could survive. Yeah, I just kept going. 3 hours. Actually, the funny part about that is that dear Stella, the puppy who belongs to my mother, but I was taking care of her while my mother was away on a trip, so I was pet sitting. Stella registered how nervous I was getting as a result of my awakening getting really close to the finish. She registered, ooh, heart rate spiking, and she was like, no, this is bad. So what does she do? But she jumps up on my lap. I immediately died, but like, how can you be mad at a puppy for jumping up on your lap because they sensed that you were stressed? Oh, Stella. Honestly, I might check to see if my mother is home from work after we finish. It was... I want to say that the first fight is the longest. So I believe the first fight took about an hour and 15 minutes. Then I'm pretty sure it was either the second or the third fight. It might have been the third, because I know that the third is actually the easiest. And it wasn't as hard as I expected. Like, to come back. So I was stressed, and my heart rate was spiking. But I did still, like, just get right back into it and finish once I'd given Stella a nice little pat and a hug. You've got Awakening with 19 characters on one day. Holy moly. Oh, yeah, Stomped came back after prepping a week. It took me the first time I got Stomped, it took me much longer than a week to come back. I had so much work to do on my gear. As for how is my move speed so fast? 227. That's not that much slower. Like, that's not that much slower than what I've got. This character specifically, I've got at least one Imperial gear piece. Do I have any fortifications? I mean, not really. I'm using a Nimble Gaia emblem because I got nothing better to use as a Gaia emblem on an alternate character. And I bet you I picked one of these with move speed. Yeah, I picked a basic weapon here with move speed. Oh, I just realized you wouldn't be able to see the emblem. So I've got 6% there, I got 5% there. I don't remember if there's any... is there some in fishing or gathering? Yeah, there's a little bit in gathering. So there's various small sources that there's various small sources that you can get a bit of move speed from, and it does add up. But I think this character in particular, we're probably looking at... Oh no, she doesn't even have a costume. Full Imperial, Mastery, Envoy, and that's the max, huh? Is there move speed in the Holy Chest? That's not the button for Holy Chest. Okay, can you not just Vogue gear? I don't have Vogue gear. I'm very much... I don't really care that much about doing skill damage pen combo. I thought there might have been move speed in there. Oh, there's 4%. That's not that much. What about Costume Archive? Does Costume Archive have move speed? I don't think it does. Yeah, it doesn't. I'm gonna be real. I'm not 100% positive exactly where it is that you're missing. If your archive is full, all that comes to mind is just various extra pieces here, like the fortifications on gear sometimes has move speed. Like I said, I'm using a nimble emblem. I don't even have my the card on my back equip here either. Could also be people's envoy paths. As you can see, I have taken 10% there. Now, I did try to do like a no gear awakening a little while ago, and I don't know if it was just that I was so exhausted after like doing a, I think I even did it on a live stream. But I mean, I'm not at 250 either. They could be popping food as well. People could be using food for move speed. But as for your specific situation, I don't know. I don't know what it is that specifically is missing. Yeah, I used to save the level 70 gold ones. The gold move speed cards to throw on gear. But what's my main at? I mean, she doesn't have her full the best gear set on right now, but I don't know. I'll have to... Oh, you got the Vo chests. No, that's okay. If I can run Vault of Eternity myself if I really, really need it. Yeah, you're right. I'm at 272 and I don't even have a sub-weapon on. Or... Where on earth did I get this move speed from then? I mean, there's 11% on my costume and back. I mean, the gear's not doing that much heavy lifting on the move speed for my bow here, because obviously most of it is without this. Hello, Emilio. This is the official Old English server, or Old Global, I should say. Didn't even feel that fast. Some of them can be pretty good, but like as you can see, I'm not using a weapon enchantment here, and I'm still at 272, and I don't know where it's coming from, because the only things I've got... This doesn't have move speed on it. No, it doesn't. Eternal Cape? I mean, a solid 2%, that's about it. Emidio, I'd say that this server is relatively easy for new players. Basically, if you follow the main story quests, you're gonna make your way up to probably somewhere in the 80s or 90s without having to do any grind. I have made videos for brand new players if you want to check those out for specific advice, but mainly if you're just looking for an MMO you'd like to play, Aura Kingdom, absolutely, as a new player, you'll be given a lot of goodies as you level up. You'll be given a whole lot of stuff that'll help you get to higher levels and stuff. But you're not going to see a lot of players in the early game because of the fact that I've got so many characters. The red text means it's a level 140 or 113 or 101. As you can see by me having this many, it's a lot of people are super easy to, or a lot of people have made their way past Awakening because it doesn't take long to get there. So you're just not going to see any multiplayer content below level 100. But you can get to level 100 without having to like beg people to assist you to run things. But now I'm curious. Hold on. What's my other bow at? Where is the move speed coming from? Stellar Sphere. My favorite class to play as a brand new player was Stellar Sphere. Thanks for sticking around, Yoshi. What's her move speed at? 240. And she's just using unfortified gear. Oh, but she does have 5% from that. Nothing on the back equip. Yo, 17% ice skill? In 1 week? I've done it in one sitting. I've done live streams. 0 to 100 in one sitting. I think my record is a little over 11 hours. But I don't think that new players would be able to do that because I've got a lot of benefits from being an older player. Yeah, nothing there. You have to play every day though, so it depends how much time you've got available. But in terms of if you just want to try an MMO, you're not going to hit any like massive grind walls in Aura Kingdom until you start getting to like the upper 80s or 90s. And depending on if there's running any events where there's like buff items that you might find free in your mail, you might be able to pick those up and just make it all the way to level 100 without doing any grind at all. But once you do hit a wall where you have to start grinding dungeons or something, that's when you're going to be able to decide whether or not you enjoy the game enough. Personally, I do just like running dungeons, which is why you saw me running dungeons very silly-like earlier. Where I couldn't even beat the final boss. It was fine, it was fine. I'm just gonna check out my guns here, because I know that my guns is pretty quick too, and she doesn't have any gear on. Right? Like, take a look at this. She has a feather, a weapon, and a mount, and she's at 270% move speed. I don't know what to make of that. Yeah, there's only 3% coming from the feather. Nothing from the weapon. Nothing? Oh, feather. Yeah, no, she's she could use some more clothes. That's for sure. She's got 5% from the extreme speed mastery there, but like, Oh, Gunslinger does have 20% move speed on the Envoy Center, so that's true. Do any of these have extra move speed on them? No. No, but 20, 30, 35, 36, 37, 38. Yeah, there's 3% move speed on there. One at Fortification 9, one at Fortification 18, and one at Fortification 30. Hold on a second, what about Eidolons? What about the Eidolon? Upgrade rewards here. Did these have them? No. Eidolon upgrade reward has all attribute damage, boss damage, pen, and damage. No move speed. My gunslinger has no equipment because I took it. I stole it. I stole her gear. In my defense, though, the reason why I stole her gear is because I was attempting to grind harder dungeons on my wizard. I did check the costume collection. I don't think it... I seem to remember that we determined it does not have move speed. Yeah, it doesn't. So it's got stats and pen, but no move speed. Are these only at 252? Anyway, this is my best set, and I even gave up on getting all bestial cores. And I'm using black scales because when I was running things that were decreasing my crit to the point that having really high crit damage didn't help, I ended up switching to using black scales instead of Agni, especially on Wizard, because Wizard has an extra 100% crit damage in the first place. Although sometimes I still can fill all of that crit damage. Or sorry, they have a 100% extra crit damage cap. Did you get 7% there? Oh, this one. I've got 5% right now from the mount. Yeah, you know, honestly, that might be a better thing to look at, is whether or not your friends are using any of the orange mount buffs. I completely forgot that that's a thing. As you can see, I'm not exactly rolling in the new costumes myself. It would be interesting if there was... I think some modern games do have it, where there's like a breakdown of the sources of everything on the stat, but Aura Kingdom is so old. It'd be like trying to ask for them to add dyeable glasses. It would require a system overhaul. Inventory do be kind of messy, though. What was I farming? It's been a while since I've done any farming of the abysses. I don't even remember what classes I was working on. I think Gunslinger? Hold on, I gotta go somewhere with a warehouse. Honestly, I feel like that's probably more likely. Is like an enchantment card here. Maybe a couple extra % on the on the back costume. Maybe one roll on an emblem. That kind of stuff. I'm not sure specifically, but you know, there's lots of little things that do add up over time. We can take that over here. It kind of looks like I was doing the Hurricane Abyss. I don't really like the Hurricane Abyss, though. Yeah, I was trying to do the Hurricane Abyss. How come it feels like I don't have any of the items at all? I swear I did it a couple times. Hurricane Abyss is really bad for drops, like... This isn't really the most optimal Eidolon to be using either, but... Alright, I'll do a Hurricane Abyss run, and then I'll probably call it for the day, because it is getting sunnier out, and I was just thinking it's a perfect time to head to the park with a coffee to sit and do some writing, because I am going to get the a new episode of the radio show out. BLD. Honestly, it might be kind of fun to run BLD first. I think we're gonna do it. I used to struggle with this dungeon quite a bit because of the third boss. Yeah, got the bug. Or she just didn't want to talk to me. Oh, wrong person. Talked to the wrong one. Good luck on your mission to discover all the sources of move speed, because honestly, if you come back and you tell me there's some secret source that even I don't know about, that would be good to know. Because everybody knows that Aura Kingdom is more fun when your move speed is higher. Oh, my pets. Come 150 to 180% does feel very slow. And actually what I should do is I should log on to my Scrub account and check out what Scrub's got going on, because hers will be a lot easier to understand. And I think, actually, that's one of the things that makes running on Scrub a little bit challenging, is just having to suffer through the low move speed. But I think she's somewhere in like the 180-ish range too. Scrub is my alternate account that I made when I was doing a challenge to see what the experience was like for brand new players. Kind of to get a picture of where you actually need to be able to beat Awakening when you don't have anything. Like, you don't have any archive. That being said, they are handing out the fancier Eidolons like candy nowadays. So she's got a lot of nice Eidolons, like the ones that don't spawn in game. It would have been an easier fight if I'd taken out some more of the poles, but that's fine. The real challenging boss in this dungeon is the next one. Oh, this is so satisfying if I'm thinking back to what I had to suffer through when I was actually trying to grind this dungeon. It took me so long to be able to beat it alone, and now it's just a cakewalk. Fafnir and Nalini Four Souls. I'm actually not sure what you mean by that. I'm pretty sure... Is Fafnir the, Icy Wolf Eidolon? Yeah, he's nothing now. That guy used to be such a pain that we would literally have to, I brought a friend, and we would do the ice trap glitch on him to be able to make him vulnerable. Or the reset glitch, where you run up to them, they would activate, run away, and when he reset, he would be in vulnerable mode. I think they fixed that, though. Once you're strong enough, you don't have to worry about mechanics. This is the way that this game works. Can I beat him without destroying the cube? Yes. Oh, but this time he's taking 0 damage. Alright, we do have to break the cubes. It's fine. I'll break the cubes. No sweat. And then the chest is so weak that you can even break it with the shield up. We ran into big issues back in the day of people one-shotting the chest even while it had the shield up. Alright, let's see what the Storm Abyss has for me. I really don't like the Storm Abyss, and this is obviously not the best character to run it on. What would be better is to run it on my Gunslinger, because the Storm skills are the only ones not debuffed inside. But unfortunately, my gun is, I don't know, it doesn't feel right. And I don't like facing the last boss, it gets very annoying. Oh! Oh yeah, that's right, like nothing does any damage. I do have a guns class. It's just that it doesn't feel very comfortable. I have a Whipmaster too, and my Whipmaster is also cap level, but it struggles here as well. Nope, one shot. Alright, so this dungeon is special, and I did think that I was able to beat it on my wizard, so I must have been farming the Infernal Abyss, not this one. This dungeon is special, as with all the abysses, for debuffing your damage to 0, having a ridiculous defense debuff, and as you can see, my crit rate is pretty pathetic. So, on top of all of that, if I can survive long enough and to come over here to offensive, all of my skills that are red listed there, it resets every time I scroll, so it's hard to show you. Like every time a stat changes, it resets. So any of those that are listed red, that is actually my damage going into the negatives, so it's debuffing my skills other than Storm. And I do have one Storm skill, but it's not really a good DPS skill. Yeah, no, this isn't gonna work, which is fine, even though I used a charm, because I'll just save it for tonight when I run Bond Dungeons. Wow, that was a debacle. I feel like I've got to at least do something impressive after that before I go. I've got about 10 minutes. Yeah, my gunslinger would definitely work better there. I just have to actually move over all the gear again. This one. Yeah, 200% flame damage. That's the only reason my flame damage was not in the negatives in that place. But that's why it's perfectly suited for running here. Although I guess that does mean I'll end up using my charm in here. It's fine. The other thing is that this abyss is basically not timed because you actually don't move into another floor, meaning you can reset your Inferno Master buff at any point. Oh yeah, they still hit hard. gosh, even these guys I'm not doing very much damage. Which is funny, because I ended up beating this on my Whipmaster, actually. Which is how I ended up with a Kerberos weapon. You run Ifrit on a gunslinger. And I don't know which one shoot is for the grenadier, but honestly, every time I manage to get through these, it always feels like I'm squeaking by the skin of my teeth. My Whipmaster manages in multiple ones because it's got just so many hits that it basically becomes impossible to die just because you're hitting so much stuff at once. At least as long as you can stay far enough away that they can't touch you, because they can still one-shot them. I should probably pull up my my pets. You know, you can run the basic level Abyss right now, and on my scrub account, I will admit that she's actually got a decent amount of gear now, but she managed. Oh, you can only run the S25s. You're talking about the Eidolon dungeon. Gotcha. Isn't it S15, not S25? See? Like, I'm doing okay. As long as I'm focusing and not letting him hit me. I'm doing enough damage, but this is kind of the, this is basically what it felt like when I was running the Awakening challenge on my first character. Obviously it took a lot longer than this, but you know, you can survive, you gotta focus, you gotta make sure you don't get hit, but you can survive if you just try, and you can see the pixels going down every now and then. And as you can see, still 0 damage. I have absolutely 0 damage right now. So everything is coming from my bonuses versus fire. And my skill bonus damage. I should double check to see if my ice damage is even in the negatives. Oh no, my ice damage is okay. And physical does not matter on this class because I've got 0 physical skills. Oh yeah, that's pretty darn late at night. Thanks for sticking around, Larry. Yeah, I'm about to end anyway. We're about to finish this boss. I'm not gonna keep going. We're just gonna fight off this one guy to show that I swear that I can actually beat Abyss bosses. And then I'll call it for the day. Ta-da! And look, actually I don't remember how many of those I had at the start, but I did get 6 from the boss. And even the mobs drop a decent amount in this dungeon too, I think. Right, like the mobs are dropping the 6 crystals as well, so farming a fire abyss weapon is so much easier than the other elements. Anyway, if you want to see the difference between S15 and this one for S35, oh boy, I'll show you. In fact, S15 is so easy, I can beat 2 bosses without even looking at the second one. I bet you it'll let me run with my current buff. Yeah, that took 5 minutes. Now I'm pretty sure I've got the pools. Alright, so that pool there, I bet you if I walk through it'll kill another boss. Yep, I killed the boss before I even got to see it. Oh yeah, and I'm one-shotting mobs with my auto attacks. That's the difference between the S15 and the S35. It's absurd. And I skipped the boss floor because I already killed him with the left remaining pool from the first boss. I can do it again. So. Oh, it bugged the floors. I think they tried to fix it and now it's more bugged. Wow. Take care, Firelander. And enjoy your coffee. God, it's so bugged now. I used to farm the Dark Abyss dungeon every single day on my Guardian before I managed to get it to Awakening, because I was just farming the skull ore thingies. Do I have any here? I was farming the ore that you need to craft weapons, and so I would run the Dark Abyss over and over and over again on my Guardian, because it was really easy to find parties as a Guardian where all I had to do was roar all the mobs together and then everybody else would just kill the mobs for me. It was amazing. Beautiful. Yes, the Soulsucker ore is the English name, but it was so easy to find people that would run with me just because I would take care of gathering the mobs and they would take care of killing it, and that's basically how I got my Guardian to Awakening way back in the day. But yeah, I am gonna call it for the day then. Like I said, I gotta work on the radio show. I really appreciate you guys all coming out and sticking around, and especially the advice on the Grenadier. I'm gonna write some of that down, and then maybe next time I won't be so pathetic as a Grenadier. But that being said, July 25th, be there or be square. All right, bye bye.